And I became anxious because he was avoidant. And I was like, wait, you don't want me?
Yeah, uh-huh. And then you see a totally different side of yourself.
Oh, insane. Who is that bitch?
Right. Yeah. Appreciation can be expressed literally anytime.
Right.
And it's almost like the more random it is that you express it, the better. If you only express appreciation in response to that, where you're like, well, yeah, I appreciate.
Then it feels
doesn't feel
not,
nearly as good as like a heartfelt call or a text. You're listening to Catharsis Sessions. I'm Dashiell Wolf. The methodology we're going to be using today is Catharsis Method. It's our philosophy and framework for healthy emotional processing designed into a deck of cards. You'll see those on the table as we go through. And my guest today is Kamryn, an incredible tattoo artist at Lucid Studios, where her work speaks for itself, but also a trained opera singer. And if you're lucky enough to be in her chair on the right day, you might even get to see her do both. What Kamryn has chosen to take a closer look at today is a fear of confrontation, one that she's observed within herself over the last few years, rising up as tense moments while navigating the dating world, family dynamics as an adult, and running a business. The following session is insightful, hilarious, and level-headed. Let's begin. And then, okay, so you sent me a text about what you maybe want to do for the situation. And that was a fear of confrontation and deep conversations.
Yep.
Okay.
Just being absolutely horrible at both of those things.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to get into this because I would not have guessed this. You know, like I've known you for a long time now, and I wouldn't have guessed this is what you would have chosen.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of relevant right now. I don't know, just with friendships and stuff. So
okay, so yeah, thanks for doing this.
Of course.
I really appreciate it. There was part of me that I was just like maybe too intimidated to ask you to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. But as soon as I thought about it, I was like, oh, that would actually be really fun. I don't know a lot about Cam and her emotional language that much. You know, like I feel like most of our interactions have been group hangs.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to see, you know, so much of your artistic side, which is lovely. But this level of things, I actually don't know a lot.
It's very different.
So tell me about just your career and how you would describe yourself as an artist.
My career, I am very passionate about what I do. I feel like it is kind of taken over my whole life and my personality, and just I'm constantly thinking of my tattoos and what I'm going to create and like what kind of content's going to do well. It's pretty much all I talk about with friends, family. I feel like maybe sometimes people get bugged by it because that's all I know.
For the audience, just in case I don't cover it in the voiceover at the start, but just to know about Cam, you're a tattoo artist, which comes with essentially being a business owner.
Yeah.
You're having to make your own content, run everything. Yeah. And aside from tattoos, you also are an amazing opera singer. Is that something you studied?
Yeah, okay. I started singing and taking voice lessons when I was 7.
Okay.
And then I did that from 7 to almost 19. And it was pretty much my whole life. I was doing state competitions, out-of-state competitions, constantly practicing. I was in choirs, musical theater, had my side voice lessons I did twice a week. So it was, my entire life until, and then I got into college on a scholarship for it. And like halfway through, I was like, screw this. This is not fun anymore.
It's tough. It's cutthroat.
Yeah. So I traded something cutthroat for something else cutthroat.
Nice. Okay. Really relieved the pressure there.
Yeah, right.
Are there any other artistic or art mediums that I don't know about?
Sculpting. I
really
love polymer clay, like Huey. That's what I did when I was in like 2nd grade. I started making all my own toys I would just like make the Last Airbender characters and Harry Potter characters, and I just made all my own dolls, and I make my own dollhouse and just build like animals. I built my whole family. I would just build like the entire worlds of all of my favorite nerdy TV shows that I could play with. So I did that. And then special effects makeup. That was kind of my leaning into tattooing. Kind of just started with body art, like temporary body art and henna. And I would draw on myself every single day in school. Like my parents would get calls from my math teacher and be like, she's drawing on her skin with Sharpies and she's not doing math. But I had some cool Sharpie tattoos every day. So my parents didn't see it coming that I was going to be a tattoo artist. I don't know how in the world they did it, but yeah.
Isn't it so funny that moment was for sure seen as like misbehaving?
Right.
But there was nothing else that you probably did in your educational career that contributed as much as that did to what you did.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I knew most of those things, but of course, the sculpting is new. And I really like that one too. When I was young, with my brother, we did a lot of home movies. Would do it was mostly like special effects, blood and guts type things. But my brother and I loved claymation.
That's so
which
cool.
was just like, took so long to do anything with like an old video camera where we would literally just like press play and stop it.
That's awesome.
But loved that too. So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me a little bit about the situation that you are bringing to our session today.
Well, I did a lot of brainstorming. I feel like there was quite a few things that I could talk about, but this is something is prevalent the right word, in my life, just with family relationships and personal relationships and like friendships and romantic. More recently, or within the last couple of years, I've struggled with just like being able to tell people how I feel, telling them like, just if I'm not doing okay, like how to convey that, or if I have a problem with somebody else, how to bring that up. Because I feel like it also has a lot to do with just like my avoidance and wanting to avoid any kind of deep stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of
okay. I mean, I can even see it in just the way you trailed off on that sentence. Like, oh God, what am I doing here?
I don't like sharing my feelings.
Okay, so a part of it. So is it more communication, or is it just kind of advocating for feelings?
Both. I think advocating for myself. I'm really good at advocating for others. When I see situations happening, like with my girlfriends, we're out or something bad's happening or someone's messing with them, I'll be the first one to be like, hey, knock that off. But when it comes to me, I'm like, oh, I'll tolerate this. This is fine.
Oh, yeah, okay. They mean well, as you're just being abused.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in.
Let's do it.
I'm excited. I think there's some really good stuff here.
Sweet.
So the situation, if I heard you correctly, is just wanting to uncover a little bit of the discomfort that you have around communication, advocating for yourself, and maybe feeling your feelings and
not pushing them away.
Not burying them, sweeping them under the rug. Okay, so that's pretty big, but I like it a lot. I think that we can probably uncover something useful. Hopefully. So with the Catharsis Method, we'll be laying out some cards. Okay. It's kind of like an emotional flow chart, just feeling through different feelings and honoring why we feel each emotion. These are your shiny little totems.
Oh, wow.
Anytime there's a card that you like where we talk about something interesting, go ahead and put a gem on it just to be like, oh, that was a little aha moment.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so Catharsis Method, if you haven't used it, is broken into two halves, which is the first half is awareness and the second half is management. And I very much see these two as kind of like this dualistic, I could apply it to the whole universe. I'm very passionate about this concept. The scientific method is a little bit where I took some inspiration on the steps and these pillars that you'll see, which is the scientific method, which is essentially just like engaging with the universe. The first half is just taking in data, and we can't have a bias when we are studying, let's say, animals. You know, like a marine biologist can't go into studying starfish with some sort of a bias. You just have to take in the raw data truthfully, honestly,
Yeah.
without any kind of a slant. But then once you do that, you can start to recognize patterns, and then you can make a hypothesis. And that's what this whole step is. We're just going to take in your feelings, look at them, maybe connect some of the dots in empathy, and then intuition is maybe seeing a bigger picture and making a hypothesis based on your emotional experience. And then the second half is where you test and you experiment and you start to challenge the emotional experience that we made an inventory for in awareness.
Cool.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So those 3 pillars, like I said, are observation, empathy, and intuition. Let's begin. So I'm thinking there's probably a couple different ways that we could try and identify emotions that are tied to this situation. In general, are there maybe some emotions that come to mind, or would it help if we zeroed in on a particular instance when you maybe shut down or felt a particular, I don't know, would you say it's a fear, or is it kind of just a general discomfort?
It's a discomfort, but it's a fight or flight. I'll either be really aggressive towards somebody or I completely shut down and I have to exit the room. Like I have to take myself completely out of the situation, or I'll just like not be able to think.
Okay.
I won't be able to like convey anything that I want them to know, or I'll forget like how I'm feeling and I just feel like nothing. I'm just really dissociated.
Okay.
Or I just get aggressive and I'm just really quick to be agitated.
Do you ever find after those moments that you're a little bit trembly?
Yeah, 100%. No, someone even says, "Hey, I just wanted to have a quick chat with you." And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm going to die.
Okay. This is super helpful. It gives me kind of a good idea of where we're probably going to go with some of these emotions. But let me give you just a quick little explanation of the 8 primary emotions, and then we'll pick 3 of them. Okay. So the emotions that we use in Catharsis Method are based on Dr. Plutchik's theory of emotion. He was a psychologist, and his theory about these emotions was that all living things use emotions. It's not some human thing. And emotions are not good or bad. All of them have useful functions, and we can learn a lot by observing them, and even the ones that might be unpleasant.
Yeah.
So the first pair of emotions is sadness and joy, which both deal with gaining possession or losing possession of things that we value. Obviously, if you lose something you care about, you feel sadness. If you gain something you care about, you feel joy. Now, anger and fear, which we might be getting into based on what we're talking about, is triggered by threats. And it's 2 different approaches. You can either attack the threat and confront it by making yourself big and loud and trying to remove the threat, or you can try and avoid the threat, hide from it, make yourself small, make yourself quiet. Those are kind of the 2 paths. Then trust and disgust are triggered by the values and the attributes of something or someone that's in our proximity, and whether those values align with our own values or misalign. If there's somebody that you're hanging out with that they just seem like a bad person, or maybe they're gross, or maybe they're annoying, or whatever, maybe they look in a way that you just don't like. If those values are misaligned, that's why you feel disgust, which motivates behaviors like pushing this thing away. If you eat something gross, your body detects a misalignment of values. Oh, this isn't good for me. I'm going to vomit it up and out of my body, right? And we do that with people and opportunities and things in our life. But then with trust, if the values are aligned, it motivates behaviors of like bringing it in, incorporating it, welcoming it into your life. And then the last emotion pair is anticipation and surprise, which both deal with new territory or change that we sense is coming. And anticipation is we try to orient to this change that's coming, or if that change has already happened and we didn't anticipate it, well, then we feel surprise. So there's kind of the basics. And you can see that each emotion has levels of intensity. One that I really like pointing out is that like disgust at its most intense level is loathing, but at its most basic level, it's boredom. just like a simple, just like you kind of reject, like there's a misalignment of values on like what's available to you, and so you feel bored. So are there any that are jumping out at you?
Surprise.
Okay, awesome. I was not expecting that.
Definitely the fear.
Fear.
Yeah. I don't know if the anger super works, because I don't feel like I get really, I don't know, it's hard to describe.
Yeah.
Angry, but more just like stressed. I'd say stressed and kind of more just like, I don't know, trying to fight for myself versus getting really angry.
Yeah. One thing that I like to think about with this pair is quite often what happens in our mind with our what's called an appraisal. It's like when an emotion is triggered, there's like the initial thoughts that you have, usually not consciously, usually it's subconsciously. What will determine whether you feel anger or fear quite often is your perceived ability to address the threat. You know, if you believe that you can confront the threat and attack it, you'll probably feel anger.
Yeah.
But if you on some level don't believe that you have the ability to face this threat head on, you're way more likely to feel fear and to avoid it.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that that's probably partially
More
why
on the fear.
you feel a little bit more fear. It's like the anger is also right there.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same energy.
It can be. It depends who I'm dealing with.
Ooh, okay. Is that because some people are bigger threats than others, or is that because because there might be a little bit of a people-pleasing tendency and you want to save them the burden of a big
that for sure
angry outburst.
But it also just depends on, like, with my family, with my sisters, we'll get at it. Like, right. I can yell at them, but like anyone else, I feel like I definitely shut down. Even with my parents, I'll shut down. So.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting to think about, because it's like, if your perceived ability to address the threat is the difference maker, and your siblings will feel your anger, but maybe your parents, or let's say a stranger, will feel your fear, is it because you're intimidated by the person, or is it trying to save their feelings?
A little bit of it really depends on who I'm dealing with.
Okay.
Sometimes it is, I'm very much trying to not tell them what I'm thinking, because I think it will, the people pleasing. And then others, I'm like, if I say this to this person, am I going to get smacked? I don't know.
Okay. Well, we can think about both, but how about we take fear for now? And then is there a third? We could take anger as the third, but the answers between the two are going to be very similar. Or does anything else stand out?
I feel like disgust, kind of, but anger might be the best option.
If it was disgust, is the misalignment of values with yourself, or is it with other people?
Other people.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get icked out when people bring up certain things. Like, even if someone's trying to, like, tell me their feelings about something I did, or like, I'm a ghoster. I'm really working on it, but I know I'm a ghoster. And sometimes people come to me and be like, hey, you've been gone. Or I've noticed that our relationship has changed, and them addressing that makes my ick for them so much stronger.
Interesting.
And I just, like, will completely shut them out and get stonewall. Dang. I'll never talk to you again.
Wow.
Sometimes.
Okay.
It can be that
tread
extreme.
Lightly. Okay, well, I think
that's mostly romantic.
Okay, I think we got to throw this in there.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's
let's do it.
there's some heat behind what you just explained.
There's some heat behind it.
Yeah. Okay. On the other side of the emotion cards, on the other side of all the cards, there are like more details where you could read into what that card means a little bit more.
Okay.
And on the back side of the emotions, I described, you're somebody who knows color theory very well.
Yes.
So these are the 8 primary emotions, and you'll notice there are emotion combos, which is that these can combine with each other to form secondary emotions.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and some of them are really interesting and like kind of insightful. Like one everybody's very familiar with is the combination of fear and anticipation is anxiety, which is kind of like a fear that takes place in a forward-facing, motion, which is brutal because anticipation of these 8 emotions is the one that is experienced over the longest period of time. And so when it pairs with fear, it sucks because normally a fear response is like pretty quick. That thing scared me. But when it's matched with anticipation, it draws out the discomfort of that fear into a prolonged thing, which is anxiety, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there are some interesting combinations there, and I'm wondering if you had to order those in which you feel the most. Let's just say in one of those moments. Which would you say is number one?
Probably surprise.
Really?
I feel like that's what I feel first, at least.
Okay.
It's the most prominent at the beginning of a conversation.
And what was the intensity level?
Freeze.
Freeze? Dang. Okay, this is cool. I'm excited to talk about this one. Okay, so we have surprise first. Which would you say is the second? And I'm not asking about the intensity level. I'm just talking about the presence of the emotion.
Yeah. Definitely fear, probably distressed with that one. Apprehensive or stressed.
Okay. And how about that disgust?
I've experienced it all. It goes, it trickles. Trickles.
Boredom, uninterested, surprise, suspicion.
Maybe skip boredom.
Okay.
Yeah. And uninterested. Because I do I'm very interested when I'm having one of these discussions. Like, I'm curious with what they have to say, but I don't want to be involved. If that makes sense.
Yeah, with like a ghosting thing, it's almost like loathing is too big of a reaction for somebody who you just don't want to associate with anymore. You know, like sometimes when people elicit too big of a disgust response, you're like, wow, you really care about that thing.
Yeah.
But uninterested is almost just like, you know what?
Right.
See ya.
I definitely have interest.
Okay. Okay, very interesting. So we're going to move on to empathy, which is connecting those dots. It's like cause and effect a little bit. So this surprise, we're going to trace it back to how it's triggered and talk about that. And then forward through the behaviors that it tends to motivate.
Okay.
To try and understand that emotional experience. And, you know, this is nice because I think you kind of came to the table with just like a general feeling of discomfort, which is hard to process.
Very
a
hard.
general feeling that has all of these things associated. So this exercise is trying to make that more digestible by breaking it into layers and honoring each one separately. All right, let's go. So surprise. If surprise is reacting to new territory or change or something that's happened that you didn't anticipate, then what is that new territory? Is it a person bringing to you something where maybe they're asking for a confrontation, and basically a situation is presenting itself to you that you don't know how to handle.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and that you didn't anticipate and you haven't quite thought through.
Yeah.
And so that triggers surprise.
Right.
Do you think that would be it?
Yeah, that's definitely
Okay.
what it is.
Okay. For our examples that we might reference, should we use one of these guys who you get icked out by as
We can.
one instance?
Yeah, we can use one.
Okay.
One that wasn't as much confrontation, but trying to like stick up for myself in like a way that I couldn't. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yes.
With who?
Just a random dude.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
at Harmon's like 2 weeks ago. So, do you want to know this
Yeah,
story?
I do.
Okay, so, I was getting gifts for one of my friends whose mom just passed away. And I had everything in my cart, and I walked past these guys in the candy aisle, and they like eyeballed my tattoos. I only had my hand ones out. They didn't even see my leg or anything. And he was like, "Oh, cool tattoos." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." I was just minding my own business. I was pretty sad and just like thinking about my friend, so I was didn't want to entertain talking to them. But then I go to the checkout line, and they're in front of me. And it was one guy in particular. The friend was like quiet. He didn't really talk to me or anything, but he was like, "So where do you get tattoos like that in Utah?" And I was like, "Oh, I actually did most of them myself." And So he asked me for like my Instagram and talked to me for like 10 minutes. And yeah, he's like, let me look at your Instagram. I pulled up my stuff and he's like, oh, you're pretty good. And he obviously pulls out his sleeve that's like super generic. Sorry. that a lot of men have of that style, like, you know, the lion and the clock and the roses and all that. And he was like, how did he say it? He goes, I thought about being a tattoo artist. And I was like, oh, really? Interesting. And he goes, yeah, it's actually like super easy. All you have to do is trace stuff. Like, you don't even have to be a good artist to be a tattoo artist. You just put the stencil on and go for it. And I was like, what am I supposed to, what? This man has no idea what he's talking about, but I was just like full shutdown mode. And I was like, I have no idea what to say to him. And I was just like, actually, it's pretty hard. Like, I work really hard. And he just, I don't know, was degrading my career next to his friend. And his friend was standing there so awkwardly. And it was late at night. Harmon's was about to close. And I just said, I have to go. And I just walked away from them. And it was so uncomfortable. But that's, yeah. Here's one instance for you.
And so I can definitely see that surprise.
Yeah.
Maybe like a little bit of shock where you're just like, how do I even respond to this?
Right. And I should have said, after I left, I was like, so many things I should have said to that guy. Like, dude, kick rocks. You're a freaking asshole. Like, what? I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's definitely like, it's a signature of surprise.
Yeah.
Which is that we didn't anticipate this thing happening. And so because of that, like, we don't have those responses ready to go because we get caught off guard. And the second we walk away, we're like, oh, I should have said this and this and this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a little bit disarming when people just are a little bit preposterous in the comments that they throw out there. And you're like, oh, yeah? Yeah, it is easy. It's super easy.
So easy.
I actually started like last Tuesday.
Right.
Okay, so I guess the new territory is kind of just being confronted by like uncomfortable moments that you're just not prepared to deal with. Okay. That makes sense. And so, okay, this question for the appraisal is, when did it happen? Does this happen a lot? Is it kind of here and there?
Yeah, I guess here and there.
Like once a week or something?
No.
That's not bad.
People are just like awkward and weird all the time.
Yeah. Especially like dating.
Yeah.
That's probably where you run
people
into
coming, like, won't even talk to me, and they'll just, like, we won't have a conversation, and they'll just run up to me and be like, here's my phone, put your number in it. And I'm like, and that's something I'm so bad at too.
Really?
If someone, I don't give a fake phone number, I will give them my real phone number, and then I'll never text them. I can't say no. It's such a hard thing for me.
You'll just,
But it's so awkward. Like, why are you showing your phone? I don't know.
Right. I mean, the path of least resistance in those situations definitely is to just be like, sure.
Right.
I'm not going to talk
But that's
to
the
you.
people pleasing in me too, where I can't just be like, no thanks. No. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or make you mad.
Right.
Some guys have what I call rejectile dysfunction,
Yeah.
which is that they can't handle being rejected and
100%.
sometimes turn into monsters.
I have I have one with that as well.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Yeah.
Story for that. Just clicked on my brain.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, your fate in having men run up to you with their phones out is a lifelong sentence for you. So, okay. So these moments, they trigger surprise. When these moments happen here and there, and they're going to continue. And so the function of surprise is worth calling out because surprise is such an interesting emotion. I actually love surprise. Because of the 8, I feel like it's the one that people are probably the least familiar with. It's like we know exactly what that feeling is of being surprised, but we don't really recognize it as an emotion or understand the implications or what it means.
Yeah.
And a way that I kind of like to think about it, to explain that shutdown, that freeze, is that because we didn't properly anticipate something, and it's now happened, and we didn't get to prepare, we didn't get to rehearse for this moment, surprise gives us this jolt of energy that kind of shuts down our other emotions to give us more bandwidth to try and orient to this thing that has now happened. And so the way that looks like is kind of this freeze, deer in the headlights type thing, where your other emotions tend to shut down. Like even in a moment where maybe anger is what you should be feeling, you'll fear nothing. You're just like, just in shock. But surprise can also take place over a long period of time, which I don't think a lot of people know about. Long story short, I was kind of in a deep, like dark, apathetic depression for like 3 years. And one of the biggest things that pulled me out of it was realizing what surprise is and realizing that my apathy, which was the absence of emotions, was a response, which it was surprise. It was that something had happened that I had buried and I didn't want to think about, didn't want to process. And emotionally, I was staying in a state of surprise, which was shutting out all my other emotions to help me orient to this thing. But because I was dissociating from it and running from it, I just stayed in this state of feeling nothing. And that lasted for years, and it was horrible. But kind of learning more about surprise is like what really helped me go, oh, okay, clearly there's skeletons in my closet I'm running from that I need to process if I want those other emotions to come back. Okay, sorry, we went deep. But,
love it.
So the function of surprise is to help us orient to what has happened, to assess or try and do what we can to like rehearse in the moment. So describe how it impacts you. We feel surprise or anticipation when we sense that the new territory, the change, is going to impact us. And if we think it's going to impact us a lot, we feel more surprise. If it's not going to impact us that much, you're probably not going to feel that much anticipation or surprise. So clearly these moments impact you.
They do. I definitely just, I freeze and freak out. I don't know.
Do you think maybe, I guess this is probably oversimplifying it, but do you think part of the intensity of the surprise is just that you don't have a ton of experience with those difficult conversations, and so you're not prepared?
I think so. Yeah. Not a lot of experience, or I have had experience and it's been really harsh
it didn't go well.
experience. So
that's a good observation. Okay. And so then with surprise, how are you inclined to react? And this can be embarrassing. Okay. Run away. People please. Just people like shut down and people please.
Yeah, I think those are my two main, or get angry. But those are my three. People please, just tell them what they want to hear, completely shut down and not be able to have any kind of conversation, or I'll just blow up. Okay. It's rare, but it happens.
Okay. And how long after those situations is it? Like literally how many seconds or minutes until you feel like you come to again and you're like,
as soon as I'm not with that person anymore.
Really?
They're out the door and I'm like, so much I could have said, so much I should have said. Or I had this whole list, like if I was
monologue
planning,
ready.
I knew what I wanted to talk to this person about and I just couldn't get the words out. You know? In that moment, I just completely forgot about every problem I had.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's definitely like it's a symptom of surprise. It just like it makes it so hard to think. It quite often surprise is counterproductive. It's like it's trying to help us orient, but quite often it just like we short circuit and can do nothing.
I short circuit real hard.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into it in the second section, but surprise is definitely one where you have to, in those moments, before you walk away and the person's out, you need to try and regulate the surprise. So that you can respond, at least to some degree, in a way that feels better.
Feels productive.
Okay, so we'll talk about that later. Let's get into the fear. Because the fear is going to be totally different. If fear is a response to threats, what is the source of the threat in those moments? Is it people who have demands of you? Is it people who you don't care about and they're needing something difficult from you? Or what would you say?
Yeah, I think the source is more my vulnerability and having to express myself and just the discomfort of having to tell people things that I don't really necessarily want to.
Okay. That's really insightful. So it's more you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not it's rarely ever a them problem. I feel like it's very much a me.
Okay. So the threat is your abilities are clashing against a situation that you don't think that they can rise to the moment of.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really interesting. So that's good for the source. So describe what it is threatening. So does that threaten like those people's impression of you? Like you're afraid of how they'll perceive you?
That and probably just like my own ego and defending my honor, you know? Yeah. And possibly if like a conversation doesn't go well, what that outcome will be of, I don't know, losing a friend or having falling out or something.
Maybe like reacting in a way that you'll immediately regret.
Yeah.
And then being like, I should have said nothing at all.
Yeah.
You know, I got you. That quote, I think, haunts a lot of people with social anxiety, which is like, it's better to keep your mouth shut. I'm going to brutalize this quote. That it's better...
say something nice and nothing at all. Is it that one?
No, it's the one that's like, it's better to be a fool and keep your mouth shut than to open your mouth and remove all doubt that you're an idiot.
Yeah.
That I don't like that quote because it definitely like renders social anxiety.
Right.
You're like, well, then I just need to be quiet all the time. Exactly. I don't want to let them know.
Yeah.
In those moments, we feel the fear. So the function of fear, is to help us avoid whatever we're determining as a threat. But for us to be feeling threatened by something, that means that inherently there is some vulnerability that we feel.
Yeah.
If we see like a little ant crawling on the table, we're not going to feel that much fear because we're not vulnerable to an ant. But if it's like a pile of black widows, it's a little bit different because we actually are vulnerable to those in some way. So why do you feel vulnerable in those moments?
I feel like it's kind of just like my upbringing or like
really?
things that happened in the past, maybe. My family used to be not anymore, but when I was a teen, we were like an explosive family. So especially me. Okay. I was just a volcano. You said one thing to me and I was screaming, punching, hitting walls. Like
the oldest
that
kid.
Kamryn, you do not know her.
Yeah, no, I do not.
She doesn't exist. But my dad also had a very, very bad temper. He was super quick to anger. And if I blew off the handle, he would too. And we'd just get in screaming like matches of, just screaming. And now I think that's also why I just can't do confrontation, is just because it makes me so uncomfortable when if someone tries to raise their voice at me or, I don't know, raises their arm too quick while we're talking, I'll like get like tight and kind of freak out. So I don't know. I think it's more kind of trauma from that.
Interesting echoes there. Maybe is it kind of like your settings are like 1, 2, 10?
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
Where it's like,
yeah.
I don't want to explode on anyone. You've got like a chalkboard at home that's like this many days since
explosion.
a volcanic eruption.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really good. Let's remember that as we move into the other one, because if it's that 1, 2, 10 thing, well, then we know that a good place to start working on it is to start working on what 3 looks like and what 4 looks like. And that's at least one place we can start pulling the thread. So then the last thing, how are you inclined to respond to this fear in those moments? Just run away?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Like my mom tried last night, was talking to me about my dog, because I live at my parents' house right now. And we've just been kind of fighting about her because I work a lot and she is kind of tired of taking my dog on a walk, which I'm very grateful for. But we were fighting over it. But she just brings it up randomly in front of the whole family. And she was just like, hey, what's going on with the dog? And I immediately am just, zoop. I have nothing to say. I have no answers on how I'm going to fix this. And I did get up and I left. And she was like, hey, we don't deal with things that way. And I came back in and tried to talk to her. That was a little more productive. So, but I will physically leave if I'm uncomfortable. Yeah.
What's like a little tough is that family is forever the exception to so much of this stuff.
Yes.
You know, like how I answer this question to every emotion, how are you inclined to respond to the emotion, is radically different if I'm with family. Yeah. Which is always scary.
Right.
Ram Dass was kind of like a spiritual leader back in like the 70s, 80s, kind of a psychedelic forefather of LSD. And he traveled to India and studied with monks and kind of became a guy that was like very kind of close to enlightenment in the spiritual space. Wrote some incredible books, amazing guy. But he has a quote that I love. So even this guy who's like, seemed like he was enlightened, he has a quote that he says, if you feel like you're on the verge of enlightenment, go spend the weekend with your family. And hearing it from him is like, oh, thank God. It's not just me. Like even this guy who is studied with monks, meditating on top of mountains is like, God damn it. It's hard to be around family sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. That's so funny and very, very true.
So in a stage of your life where you are currently interacting with your family more than you probably will, the remaining chapters of your life, there might be a little bit of volatility.
For sure.
Kind of unique right now.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump to that disgust, which I've been very excited to peel back the layers of.
Oh, no.
Disgust is a misalignment of values. So we're going to be zeroing in on that. So what triggers your disgust? Our first question, what is the object of your disgust? Sounds like there's in those moments. And so let's forget about these two emotions. We're just honoring the disgust, which is a misalignment of values. Is the object of your disgust the other person?
Yeah, or what they're bringing to me if I feel it's a invalid opinion.
And what makes it invalid? Just that it exists near you?
Yeah, maybe that, or maybe I don't entirely agree with someone's perspective on something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the object of your disgust, I guess it's kind of like case by case.
Yes.
It could be this guy, it could be a stranger in the grocery store, it could be your parents.
Right.
So we'll keep that in mind as we go through. So next, describe the values that feel misaligned. Let's say with your mom bringing up the dog. Was there disgust in your response?
Yes. Okay. Well, I feel because it's been a topic that she and I've been talking about, and she just wants me to put more effort in with my dog because, I work a lot. But I feel like I have, over the last few weeks, been trying a lot harder to be there for her, and I've felt like my actions and my work had gone unnoticed, and the things that I was changing had gone unnoticed. So that just made me just be like, ugh, are you kidding me? You're not seeing what I'm doing? Like, I'm trying. So that was definitely misaligned because she was like, you're not doing anything, but I am here saying, yes, I am.
Okay. So in that particular instance, it was kind of like her not seeing your efforts and maybe you not seeing
where she's coming from.
Yeah. Okay. And so there's that example there. Maybe what are the misaligned values in the instance where it's just like a stranger where you kind of shut down? Or no, let's go to a ghosting.
Okay.
I gotta know.
This one's so bad. I'm not proud of it. But So I was talking to this guy.
I'll tag him in the video.
Oh, perfect. About this time last year. And he was very emotionally in tune with his emotions and just wanted to talk about everything.
Okay.
Everything that bothered him, or just, he was very confrontational and just wanted to talk, about everything. And
confrontational in a healthy way, or
it was more just energy vampire, and
we got to discuss
because he
everything.
would talk,
we got to talk through everything.
To talk through everything, and we'd only gone on like 2 or 3 dates.
Hey.
We'd been talking for maybe 3 weeks.
That's a burden.
Yeah,
he's hanging on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so on his birthday, he invited me to a bar. I was already starting to get icked out from him just because, he was always throwing his emotions at me, and I don't deal well with that. And I also don't know how to counteract it and share things about myself. Like, I'll just let people talk and talk and talk, and I never add anything of value from my own perspectives. Okay. But yeah, so we went to a bar for his birthday. I ended up leaving and went to a concert with one of my friends who was also at that bar. And then afterwards, I was pretty icked out from him just because he was suffocating me. And he calls me on my way home because I dropped her off. And yeah, he called me a little bit drunk, I think, and was just like, told me that he knew that he felt like I was pulling away, and told me that I was too good to him, and that I love bombed him, and that I showered him with all of this love, and that I should never treat a man that way again because I made him feel too good and made him feel too loved, that he doesn't know what he's going to do now because, like, no one else is like me or something. And it freaked me out so bad that the next day was his actual birthday, and we had birthday plans. I pretended I was sick on his birthday, which is so mean. I should have just been like, yo, that conversation last night was horrible. Mm-hmm. Well, first off, he calls me. That was a conversation we had at 4 a.m, and he calls me 4 a.m, calls me the next morning at 8 a.m, or 4 hours later, and I just stayed up till 4 talking to him or listening to him. Mm-hmm. Getting talked at. And he's like, hey, I was thinking today, instead of all these plans with my friends that we'd already planned on, that you and I could just sit in my house and watch movies. And I was like, I'm sick. I'm not going to make it. And it's like, okay. He ends up going out and hanging out with his friends, and he goes shooting and accidentally ricocheted into his arm. Mm-hmm. And he called me when he's with all these people asking for medical help, and for me to drive out there and come help him. And I was like, I didn't answer his calls. I listened to his voicemail that was like, I just freaking shot myself accidentally. And that's where the stonewalling started. And I just didn't reply to anything about the medical help. And then he sent me like 5 more voicemails and texted me. And I just completely cut him out. I didn't respond to anything. I unfollowed him on everything, blocked his number, except I got a text 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. We haven't talked in a year because I've ghosted his ass so hard. And he was like, let's go have an adventure. Today's the day we met. Crazy. But I didn't reply, and I'm never going to. Or maybe I should. Maybe I should grow and tell him.
That boy had a date in his calendar.
Yeah, the day we met.
Wow.
At a party.
How many journal entries has he written about you?
I don't know. Okay, I hope that was on topic. I was just rambling.
No, definitely. I think there's a lot there. I mean, a lot of the disgust and some of the behaviors felt perfectly justified.
Okay, cool. I think so.
It's like a little icky to use your birthday as like an obligation against somebody, but then 2, to injure yourself, shooting yourself. And obviously he was using it as an excuse to demand your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also what really got me, and I actually convinced myself that I was a love bomber. I wrote a journal entry about it because I'm like, am I a love bomber? No, I'm just a lover girl who wants to, like, if I'm enjoying time with you, of course I'm going to offer to pay sometimes and, like, I don't know, be nice.
Considerate.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
No.
Yeah, are you pretty familiar with attachment theory?
Yes, very.
And you are?
Avoidant as hell.
And the very worst thing you could do to an avoidant person is to
suffocate,
cling on even more, which is just the unfortunate forever trap between anxiously attached people and avoidant. But that's definitely what that sounds like. That was, and I don't know if that's a recurring pattern with everybody that you date, or if it was just with
it's pretty much
stage 3 clinger guy.
Yeah, unless you're secure or also avoidant, I really, really struggle with anxious attachment people.
Yeah.
Friendships, everything.
I think this makes perfect sense. You know, like a lot of this, if you would have just told me you were an avoidant person at the very beginning, okay.
Checks out.
Yeah. Yep. There's going to be disgust in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we kind of got a little bit of a sense of the values that are misaligned. In that particular instance, obviously there's a misalignment of values, which is, avoidant people, just like what's at the root of it is that as soon as there's expectation placed, which can come with labels, it can come with calls or texts, it can come with whatever, it threatens our freedom. Yeah. Usually.
Yeah.
And that's what makes, don't touch my freedom.
Yeah.
I will cut you out.
Oh, freak.
Yeah, And so that's a pretty obvious misalignment of values. Anxiously attached people, priority number 1 is not freedom.
Yes.
Freedom's pretty low on their list because they're actively trying to cohabitate.
Right.
And be codependent with somebody.
They need to know everything, like where your thoughts are at every single given moment.
Yeah.
And that is something I do not deal well with.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so underneath that, though, a feeling of disgust comes from some level of susceptibility, where we kind of internalize that this thing is bad for us. Because if it's just a simple, like, agree to disagree type of a misalignment of values that doesn't affect you, you're probably not going to feel that much disgust unless that misalignment is touching or is susceptible in some sort of a way, which in the case of like guys that you date, it makes sense where like dating, you're going to feel it way more because you're susceptible in a more intimate relationship and where you're just more engaged with a person doing more things. But what do you think the susceptibility is to, let's say, clinging? Is it that they are threatening your freedom?
Yeah.
Which isn't the end of the world, but like, what does it feel like? Does it feel like the end of the world?
A little bit.
Really?
I get so anxious and I feel like I can't breathe.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Is that it's like there isn't enough space in those relationships for you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Perfectly said.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I want to think about that more because maybe what is sort of behind a lot of these moments is just that you feel like you are not being seen, that you do not have the space to just be authentically present without it coming at some cost.
100%.
Yeah. I do think maybe this is an unfair thought, but I think being a very good-looking person is quite often going to come with a lot of those relationships because what's behind an avoidant person is them choosing you and wanting and being like, of all the girls I've dated, that's the one that I would commit to. And so I'm going to show that choice by clinging or by just engaging more.
Right.
And so unfortunately, I think it'll be a little bit more rare than maybe it is for some people that you'll run into avoidant men.
Yeah. I've ran into one and recently, and I became anxious because he was avoidant. And I was like, wait, you don't want
Yeah, uh-huh. And then you see a totally different side of yourself.
Oh, insane. Who is that bitch?
Yeah. Right. You're like, whoa, I'm waiting for him to text me back. Yes.
We only went on 2 dates and I already tattooed his name on me. I don't know. Just kidding. Yeah.
I do think that part of it, in a person who's maybe usually avoidant and having these kind of emotional reactions, when there's someone else who's avoidant, it reads as self-sufficiency. Like, they don't need you. They're happy to walk away. And there's something about a person who is self-sufficient where you recognize, oh, I could breathe in that relationship. Here's somebody that won't smother me, and that going on more dates or partnering up or whatever it is, I'll be able to breathe in a way that I haven't been able to in so many of these other relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets tricky because, I'm currently seeing someone.
Okay.
And he's also avoidant, and I can tell. And it's made it so hard because we've been going out for like 4 months now, and like I want to know what he's feeling and thinking about me, I guess. Like, does he want a relationship? Like, what he's looking for? I haven't asked because I don't know how to confront him with that conversation of like, and he hasn't asked. And so we're just like at this weird, awkward thing. And I don't know if like being with an avoidant, yes, makes me feel better because I feel like I can breathe, but then it also makes me really stressed because now I have to figure out how to have those conversations.
And then it's tricky too, because like a DTR, a define the relationship, normally is like something that would trigger an avoidant.
Yeah.
And so what happens when you have to have that conversation, but you know who you're with and you don't want to give them the ick. You don't want to chase them out. That's tough. And I think, remember our 1, 2, 10 thing? Yeah. I think those conversations, especially when they can be had in a really productive way, they exist between 2 and 10, like it's intense. It takes like being pretty present, staying calm, staying regulated, but not coming off too much like, hey, so do you even like me?
Yes, that would be horrible.
Then,
right out
away.
the door.
Yeah. So I think those conversations, definitely you want to think about maybe in the 3 or 4 or 5 range and working on what that looks like. And so, okay, that's interesting. And then how are you, we've kind of got some examples, but how are you inclined to respond to the disgust in these situations?
Bye,
Ghost
Felicia. Bye, Felicia.
And the ick, part of disgust is that we will like vilify the thing. And because it's easier in our mind to reject something if we've created a narrative that they're gross, to being like, oh, they fucking suck. Yeah. And then suddenly, oh, well, now it's really easy to push you out because I've convinced myself that they're awful. Yeah. Does that sometimes happen with that ick?
That definitely happens.
Okay.
It feels super, like when I think about it, I'm like, that is so unfair. And I would love to tell them that it's not their issue and that it's me. But I can't tell you that it's me, Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, to finish off this section, we just need to kind of summarize what each row was. So the surprise, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's mostly that you're faced with confrontation and these situations that you have not properly prepared for or rehearsed, just through life experience in general, but maybe having seen that conversation coming just a little bit before it happened could have helped. Yeah. Okay. And then the fear this one was a little bit more internal facing. I think you said it was kind of like you're worried about their impression. You don't want to blow a gasket. Yeah. Okay. You almost like don't trust the way that you would navigate certain
that or
confrontation.
That or their reactions. Yeah.
Okay. And then the disgust, it's kind of obvious. Misalignment of values, but I think the avoidant anxious thing is what's behind a lot of it.
It's huge.
Because I'm guessing you haven't felt a lot of disgust towards this current guy.
No.
He hasn't done a lot of things that made you be like,
No.
It's just been, come back.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I think those are very distinct.
Yeah.
And as far as like ways to improve, which we'll do on the back half, there are different things I would recommend for each of those. Mm-hmm. So I think that was good. That was great to dissect it like that.
Thanks.
Nice. Very good job. You're way more emotionally literate and well-spoken than you think you are.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I have a dissociative disorders, whenever I get really anxious, my brain just shuts off. Mm-hmm. And I mean, obviously that comes with this territory too. So whenever I get anxiety, I'm like, I don't know if I can talk. I should probably just go sit in bed. So I'm glad you think so.
Yeah. You had me prepared to think that was going to be an unmitigated disaster.
Oh, good.
That was lovely. Okay, cool. Well, we are going to move on to the next section.
Cool.
Okay, so management is our second section, which is the ability to regulate thoughts, feelings, and actions. It takes the blueprint of our awareness and challenges that initial experience. It's our ability to think critically and guide our responses in more productive directions. So now that we've given our feelings a space to breathe, now we can go, but what if? Or how about we interrupt this? Or how about we try this? Yeah. So our pillars for that are composure, which is a good one for you, accountability, and innovation. So let's first start with, so we're doing the same situation. And so now with composure, we're going to start with context and coping.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you just a couple very basic questions to bring us back to like what's important here. So the first one is the root of the problem in your control.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know.
It's kind of tough. There's pieces that I would say are, pieces that aren't. Because like your reactions and how you navigate those conversations is in your control very much. Mm-hmm. But, you know, guys running up to you with their phones out, you can't totally control.
Yeah, I feel like the root of the problem is the surprise element.
Okay. So if it's in your control, then focus on what you can do to improve it. And if it's not in your control, focus on how you can change your relationship with that problem. So the surprise element, I think you're right that you can't really control that.
Yeah.
You can maybe try and like practice these conversations, kind of rehearse a little bit better so that when it comes, it's a little bit less disarming.
Yeah.
Because you know how to handle them a bit better. But changing your relationship with those moments, there's a few things that I would recommend that we can get into. But like one of them off the top of my head would be like surprise and emotions in general are usually something that we feel like a spike of energy that usually only lasts a few seconds. Mm-hmm. And that if we feel a moment, let's say the shell shock of that surprise, if we can like remember to remind ourselves, hey, just wait 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Usually most of that surprise will wear off pretty quick. And I don't think anybody would be offended if you took a second to think about what you want to say. Yes. You know, if a guy sticks out his phone, I kind of love the thought of you just taking a minute. You're like, what do I want to say to this guy? I'm not going to walk away from him. No thanks.
Yeah, no, that is very beneficial.
I feel like there's a movement these days, kind of as emotional intelligence becomes more of a priority, that people genuinely admire when a person takes time to think about how they want to respond. You know, rather than thinking, oh, I need to respond quickly with a perfect answer. Instead, it's to think about it and then respond.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's admirable. It's hard to do in practice, a lot easier said than done, but I think it would definitely help you in those moments of surprise.
For sure.
To be like, okay, I'm not going to respond well in the first 6 seconds.
Yeah.
But if I can take a deep breath and wait, I'm 10 times more likely to respond in a productive way.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so what is the most important thing in this situation? If we were to fast forward, let's say a year, and we were looking back on Cam now, and what she's doing in her relationships and how she's working on herself, what is the thing that you'd be like the most proud to have worked on or protected or
proud of being able to say no? Like, just if I don't want to do something or I don't agree with something, sticking up for myself and telling someone that I don't agree, or that, no, I'm actually not, I don't want to go to your birthday party, I won't be there, you know, instead of agreeing and then, I don't know, ghosting or flaking. Yeah. So I'd be very proud of myself for that. I actually made it one of my goals last year. My top goal was say no more.
Really?
And I did not do well. So we're redoing that this year.
Okay. And so that pride that you would feel in those moments, is it kind of like you would be proud of you just being able to say no, or would it be proud in honoring what you actually want?
That.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just having more inner peace and being okay with disappointing people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A woman who wants space to breathe.
Yeah.
I like the thought of her, setting boundaries.
Yes.
And giving herself that space.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, so the next section is coping strategies, which I don't think, well, maybe it will be relevant. We'll see. Let's see if this resonates with you at all. So coping strategies. When facing an amount or a type of stress that we aren't able to manage, we all resort to our coping mechanisms. Mm-hmm. They are a form of compromise. Coping buys us momentary comfort, but at a cost. Distressed feelings can be soothed or numbed. Uncomfortable thoughts could be bargained with or indulged. But our strategy is picked for us until we consciously intervene. Mm-hmm. So as soon as we start thinking about our coping strategies and what they look like, it becomes a lot easier to interrupt them and go, oh, that's maybe not the most healthy coping strategy. So what's an example of an unhealthy coping mechanism that you've used in the past?
Just saying whatever first came off the top of my head without thinking, or just exiting the room.
I think that's, because like exiting the room, running away, ghosting, those are all examples of coping where it's like, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm doing.
Right.
And it solves the problem, but it comes at a cost of
I have an example when I was in Korea with my best friend. We had a layover there from Bali. And we were at this beautiful temple, and I was taking pictures because my dad used to live in Korea, and I was taking pictures of the temple. And my best friend, she made it a goal of the trip to kind of detach from her phone and detach from social media and everything. While I was taking pictures, she goes, "What are you doing on your phone? Look at this beautiful temple. Like, get off your phone." And I turn around and I go, "Okay, Mom," without even like thinking anything of my response or trying to like calm myself and be like, "Oh, I'm taking pictures for my dad." I just was like, and then I felt really bad after that left my mouth. I was like, that was so rude. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think, I think that's a good example. So what's a healthier coping mechanism that you could have used in this situation?
The 6 seconds breathing.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. Sit and think, or just be like, oh yeah, I don't know. Let me put my phone down, or I don't know. Mm-hmm. I guess in that instance, I felt like I was actually doing something and I was paying attention. But
yeah, I think maybe this is just like a little too heady, but another motivation to take the 6 seconds is because when we have those emotional responses, there's a lot we can learn from having the presence of intense emotions. And if if we act just in a quick response of autopilot, 1, we don't act in the way that we want to, but 2, you don't really get to feel through those emotions to kind of understand what they are or where they're coming from. And if you can't ever do that, then you're not going to get to the bottom of like those triggers. And so if you take the 6 seconds, it's good for both. 1, you'll end up making a better choice in how you don't say, "Okay, Mom, shut up, bitch." But also, I think it's important to just feel those feelings. When you get triggered, be like, okay, this is that feeling that I talked about with Dash. It sucks, but I'm taking a picture for my dad.
Exactly. That's all I needed to say.
Yeah. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do a quick stress inventory. This is kind of one of the first steps of management that I like, which is to take a quick inventory of the other areas of your life unrelated to the situation,
Okay.
and whether those are contributing more or less stress to you right now.
Okay.
Because it's good to be cognizant of other stressors in our life to make sure that we don't let those bleed into how we respond to this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to ask you a handful of questions over a couple categories. The first category is health. So my overall health and pain levels have been comfortable or draining?
Physically comfortable, mentally draining.
Okay. Let's go physical. This is more like physical health,
Okay.
pain levels. So comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. My sleep schedule has been mostly consistent or erratic. I'll go ahead and place that one. I can tell. My diet, water intake, and exercise have been healthy or indulgent.
Healthy.
Cool. Environment. The cleanliness of my home or bedroom brings me feelings of comfort or distress.
Comfort.
Nice. My workload at school, work, or home feels predominantly in control or overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
Really? Work or home?
Work.
Okay. All right. It's tough being the best.
Yeah.
Yes. The media that I watch, listen to, and read makes me feel inspired or upset.
Both. I don't know. I feel there's like everything going on right now. Definitely stressed, but I feel like I also consume like a lot of art and creativity and get the good in people.
I think that's some good stress.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, social. The outlooks of those around me have seemed mostly uplifting or gloomy.
Like how I view other people, or
No, the people around you, friends, family, their temperaments and their outlook has been more gloomy or uplifting? Okay, cool. My support system and those that I can lean on have felt close by or distant.
Distant.
Okay. Attitudes toward who I am and where I am in my life have seemed accepting or judgmental.
Probably accepting.
Cool. And then last category, actions. My efforts to reach out and show up for those that I care about have been proactive or static.
Proactive.
Okay. The promises that I made to myself or others have been mostly kept or neglected.
Neglected.
Okay. And by my own measure of productivity, I have been productive or complacent.
Productive.
Cool. So that's just like a quick little snapshot where you can quickly kind of identify, oh, you got one from each color. Nice. Kind of identify the areas that might be contributing a disproportionate amount of stress. And then you can just keep that in mind as you move towards a response. Cool. Okay, so accountability. This one could be interesting. So with this section, there's a few different challenges that we can do, but very much I only want people to do them as needed based on the situation they choose. For example, like if people are processing grief with Catharsis Method, I don't want them to do accountability.
Yeah.
That's not what they should be thinking about.
Right.
So we can definitely do as many of these or as few of them as we want to. But those exercises there's conscience and trust, which is just looking at core values and maybe choosing something to keep in mind to help keep you guided. There's unhelpful thoughts and unhelpful actions. This is a little exercise to try and interrupt unhelpful thoughts or actions.
Okay.
There's communication, which is taking a closer look at your communication or someone else's communication. There's radical acceptance, which is an exercise for people who are having a hard time accepting things that are outside of their control. And then there's cognitive distortions, which is like thinking errors or fallacies that you might be engaging in your brain.
Okay.
Do any of those stand out? I kind of have a couple in mind.
I think the cognitive distortions. Communication.
Yep, those are the two I was thinking of too.
Get into it.
All right, let's do cognitive distortions first. You'll read a few examples here. So on this card, there are 6 cognitive distortions on both sides. Also called thinking errors, cognitive distortions are biased perspectives and irrational ways of thinking that influence our thoughts, feelings, and judgments of ourselves and the world around us. So just go ahead and look at those, and you can just choose one based on maybe one that you know you're guilty of, or one that you think is interesting, whatever you want.
Okay. Maybe personalization or overgeneralization.
Okay. Let's look at those. So personalization, taking personal responsibility for things that are fully or partially out of your control. Our team lost because of me. Overgeneralization. Okay. So using an isolated incident or single attribute to assign a broad generalized label to a larger whole. Oh, she likes his car. She's so shallow. One that I thought about earlier was, I guess maybe it'd be blaming, or maybe emotional reasoning. The guy that you gave the example of. And that call that he gave you at like 3, 4 in the morning, he said you made him feel a certain way. That when he was talking about you love bombing or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's such a perfect example of blaming, obviously. But the thing that's so interesting about blaming, making others responsible for how you feel, comes from a conscious or unconscious belief that others have more power to affect your life than you do. You made me feel bad. And it's just such an interesting one that who knows if he'll ever pick up on that. That's like, hey, your feelings are your responsibility. And just because it's exciting to go on a date with me doesn't mean that I need to temper the way that I act in order to, you know. And let's move on to communication. I love communication. So the infrastructure of information that can connect us or keep us apart is our communication. So let's reflect. Is there a relationship between you and another person that could benefit from taking a second look at what is or isn't being shared?
Yeah. I mean, with the other guy that I was talking about, for sure.
And do we want to look at your communication or theirs?
Yeah, mine.
Okay. So we'll do a couple questions on your communication. So I break communication into 6 categories. Trying to be communication is something I care about a lot. And if I want to be a good communicator, you kind of need to think about these 6 categories, which are needs, intentions, expectations, boundaries, apologies, and appreciation.
Okay.
So let's take a look at your communication, shall we? So let's start with needs. And we can think of a specific example where we're looking at your communication, or we can kind of just apply this in general.
Okay.
So with needs, have you thought through your needs, and have you clearly communicated those needs? Do you feel like you do a good job at that normally?
I think through them a lot. Like, I know what I need. I just don't convey that to others very well.
Why? Because they're reasonable, I assume.
Yeah, they are reasonable.
And it sounds like they are hungry to be honored.
Yeah. I feel like that just comes with a lot of backstory and explanations that I don't want to get into with, I don't know, with certain people.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right. So working on communicating needs is one area of improvement. So intentions. Are you good at thinking through what your intentions are and communicating those?
Yeah.
Kind of like what you...
Like what I want to get out of it. Yeah.
What you're doing here.
Right. I have a goal if I'm going to communicate with somebody.
Okay.
But it doesn't always get said correctly.
Okay. Next one is expectations. Do you, with these people, do you generally have expectations of them?
Oh, of course. I want them to say everything I want to hear.
Well, the next question was, are they fair?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But I think I read people and read situations really well. So I feel like I'm very fairly wrong about a situation.
Rarely wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. I think avoidant people tend to be pretty good at tempering expectations because they are so threatened by expectations, and so it would take a lack of self-awareness to be threatened by expectations, but then to like throw heavy expectations on other people.
Yeah.
And are you pretty good at communicating expectations?
No.
Okay. So there's another thing to work on. Here's the big one, I think, boundaries. Are there, do you think through what your boundaries are pretty well? Like, have you thought through what those would look like in like the most healthy?
My ideal relationship. Yeah.
Well, just one distinction. I think expectations is what you are expecting them to do, and boundaries is actually what you are going to do. While boundaries can often look like, hey, I'm drawing in this line based on what, like your behavior.
Yeah.
It's actually, if you do this thing, which you're welcome to, but if you do, the consequence is in losing access to me.
Yeah.
And I am going to go over here.
Yeah.
Or like if you raise your voice, kind of like your mom set a boundary a little bit.
Right.
Where you walk down, she's like, hey, this isn't how we handle it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so boundaries, it's kind of helpful to just remember that boundaries are less about them and saying, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, but it's just what are you going to do if they do this thing?
I think I am quite good at that. Then.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Did you have an example you wanted to get into?
No, I don't remember what I was going to say.
Okay. Are there any boundaries that need to be set? If a boundary is crossed, what then? And have you communicate those boundaries? Kind of the main questions to ask yourself when considering that. So last one, apologies. Or not last one, second to last one. Have you crossed any communicated boundaries of theirs? And when that happens, do you give them an apology, acknowledging what you did and stating how you'll change?
I'm very quick to apologize.
Really?
If I feel like I've done something wrong or said something, I'm always very quick at it.
Okay. But in an instance like the one that you brought up with your mom and the dog, where she might have wanted to hear an apology, kind of like, hey, sorry, I'm going to work on it. I guess the determining factor was that if I feel like I've done something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess acknowledging if maybe they were hurt or something. I don't know. Sometimes it does take me a minute to kind of process like, oh, maybe that wasn't good or an all right thing to say. So.
Yeah. 6 seconds.
Yeah, the 6 seconds.
Okay, and then last one, a little easier, appreciation. Are there efforts being made for you by others that you haven't seen or haven't expressed appreciation for?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I could always express that a little better. My appreciations.
Yeah, I really like that question, especially in family dynamics, because almost always there are efforts that are being made that aren't seen and that aren't being appreciated. And that's actually what made you a little bit upset in that situation. Yeah. Was kind of your efforts not being seen.
And I was talking to my dad because he was there for that conversation. I was talking to him after, and I was just like, I do. He was like, you have to see where your mom's coming from. And I was like, I do. I appreciate, I've been living with them for a year, a little over a year now. And I'm like, I appreciate that I've been here for this long and she's tolerated me just dumping my dog on her so often. And he was like, well, you should tell your mom that. I'm like, yeah, I should. I should definitely say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's being proactive to express that appreciation quite often just preemptively avoids the exact confrontations that happened.
Yeah.
You know, like let's just say you randomly decided to text your mom earlier that morning to say that. That situation wouldn't have happened.
Right.
You know? So appreciation was really nice for just like keeping everything nicely lubricated. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to, you're saying it doesn't have to like, I don't know, conversation doesn't need to be had first to just
Yeah.
send the text.
Appreciation can be expressed literally anytime.
Right.
And it's almost like the more random it is that you express it, the better. If you only express appreciation in response to that, where you're like, well, yeah, I appreciate,
Then it
doesn't feel
not,
nearly as good as like a heartfelt like call or a text or something. You
Right.
know? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Let's move on to our last pillar, which is innovation. And this is kind of us now trying to look for silver linings and a more productive way to look forward and look at things. So we're going to do a reverse engineer exercise, which is basically just looking at the presence of one of our emotions and trying to just reverse engineer what that means, and what insights we can glean. So we could reverse engineer sadness or joy to generate a gratitude game plan, reverse engineer anger or fear to strengthen your sense of security, reverse engineer anticipation or surprise to reinforce your resilience, reverse engineer trust or disgust to scrutinize your susceptibilities. Do any of those jump out?
I think the sense of security.
Okay, cool. So we're going to be looking at your fear. We kind of covered this a little bit when we were examining the fear in the first half. And it's just recognizing that, okay, if I feel fear, there's a lot of useful things that I can determine if I don't let that emotion just like overcome me. So the feeling or the presence of your fear means that something is a threat to you. And the intensity level of your fear equals how much danger you perceive that threat poses. So let's think about the something that's threatening you, and then think about that danger. So with your fear, what is the threat? I think we identified it. The threat was your
backlash.
Okay, backlash? Yeah. From the other person? Okay, I like that. So if that's the threat and why you're feeling the fear, you're worried about how this person might respond. And the intensity level of your fear, which would you say it's pretty intense in those moments?
Yeah.
I mean, if you describe it as fight or flight, that's pretty intense. So that means that you're perceiving that this threat poses a lot of danger. So their backlash, why does that feel so dangerous?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with like my past trauma.
Okay.
My first boyfriend was horrible, like so bad. And anytime I would confront him with anything, or like he cheated on me a whole bunch and stuff, and if I brought something up, like he'd get really violent. And like walls would get punched, or I'd get punched, or like things would just get outrageous. So yeah, that's a big, like, I think why I get so timid, especially with men, like with my confrontations with men. Just if I say something that's going to tip him off, or he could be a nice guy, but he's might flip his shit. So
you never know, like the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of men can be freaky. Okay, that is that's a huge piece behind this. That makes a lot of sense. So it's totally justifiable that it has given you kind of an echo of worrying about your security and why you feel vulnerable in moments that could set a person off, that you've seen it set a person off.
Yeah.
So what are 3 things around you or within you that you feel are most threatened by this? Is it like your physical safety? Could be one. Okay.
Yeah, physical. I think also my mental, because that just makes me like spiral.
I think those 2 are good.
Yeah.
So why don't these things feel safe or secure?
Probably just because they've been triggered in the past.
Okay. I think that's good. Yeah. So now for that though, what is one thing that you can do to make yourself feel more secure and impervious to threats?
With him, I guess I don't want to say like I should have, but there are things that I could have done to de-escalate situations, maybe, like instead of just, I don't know.
Yeah, I maybe wouldn't put that on the past version of yourself, but maybe you could put it on the future version of yourself.
De-escalating, just making everyone calm first, or trying to bring the volume down or the intensity down just with breathing and
maybe not even getting close enough with people who might be like that, you know? Yeah. Like, it's scary to like open yourself up and be intimate with a person who's going to be volatile with whatever you open up.
Yeah, for sure.
With, yeah. Okay. But you also seem like a very capable person.
Thank you.
Like I feel like you could kick my ass. So there is like, do you recognize a difference between that past version of yourself when things escalated, got scary?
Yeah.
And how that version of you, which you were a teenager, right? And your capabilities to handle those situations were understandably inexperienced, but as opposed to now, I think you'd probably be able to navigate it at several steps leading up to it.
Oh, that would never happen now. I wouldn't even get close to that situation. Yeah.
So that confidence that you just said.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make you feel a little bit safer?
It definitely does.
That you have a better sense of like all these safeguards that would prevent things from even getting to that point.
My red flag radar goes crazy now when I'm out with people or first dates or men or anything. I'm just like, oh, yep, nope, that's a no. We're not going to get in that situation. And also just my physical strength. I feel like a big part of why I work out is also to feel more confident and being able to hold my own.
Yeah, I think definitely like the physical prowess and having more experience with de-escalation and being able to sense when, you know, men are fragile. Yeah. All of those things I think help. So yeah, I think just giving a little bit of conscious attention to those things probably will help you feel more safe and secure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Last exercise and then you're free.
Cool.
This is the cognitive triangle. This is kind of a staple in cognitive behavioral therapy, which just recognizes that the relationship between our feelings, thoughts, and behaviors is very linked. And that each of them can influence the others for better or worse. And while our feelings, we can't directly change our feelings. Like I can't just turn my sadness off. You can't turn your surprise off.
Yeah.
But we can somewhat change our thoughts with conscious effort over time. But our behaviors, we can change like that. So if we want to change our feelings, the best way to do it is indirectly through better thoughts and behaviors that would inspire those feelings. So what is the ideal feeling, the ideal way that Kamryn wants to feel?
I guess confident. I want to feel confident and secure in whatever I'm going to say or do is beneficial for both parties.
Maybe like calm or like clear-headed.
Clear-headed.
Rather than getting zapped by the surprise. Okay. Okay, so let's go to thoughts. What are some helpful thoughts that would promote those feelings?
Just that maybe that I've dealt with confrontation before. It's nothing new. And that staying calm and collected will help the situation.
And maybe it's a reminder that like feeling calm and collected is always attainable if you just take a second to breathe, you know? And maybe just reminding yourself that it's like, okay, if that's the ideal way I want to feel in these scary situations, I can do it every single time, but all I have to do is just wait a little. Yeah. Take a deep breath. Look at them in the eye, make them get nervous.
Make them get nervous. Oh, my best friend is so good at that.
Really?
Yes. People will ask her a question or something, like guys, and she'll just sit there and stare at them for a second. Like I watch her do it and I know what she's doing. And she'll just ask like a really deep question and then or they'll ask a really deep question and she'll just.
Is she trying to mind fuck them, or is it just how she is?
She is a little bit, I think. But it was not intentional at first, and now that she knows that it makes them clam up, she definitely uses it to her advantage.
Do I have?
No, she's wonderful. I admire that about her.
Yeah. But that's the thing too, especially in like those situations where you might be worried about, going to 10 or maybe people are putting you in uncomfortable situations like the guys with their phones. It's like, put them in their place, make them wait, Yeah. Like you are in charge of that situation more than they are. So like, don't sacrifice.
I am in charge of the situation.
Ideal response. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are some good thoughts. What are some behaviors? As far as behaviors that you could do like today or tomorrow that would help with the eventual thing, maybe like practicing uncomfortable conversations.
Like approaching people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, like doing this is super hard.
Yeah.
So like kudos to you already. Thank you. I think that all of this will help.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. You've got to have some people in your camp that would be okay with you just having an awkward confrontational conversation, like a practice confrontation.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
My dad, he'd be so down to help me. That's something I also really love about him is he knows that this is the way that my brain works. And so instead of being like, hey, I need to talk to you, I don't know, he'll just be like, this is something I would like to discuss with you, maybe later tonight or tomorrow. We can talk about it once you've thought about your feelings. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish everyone would approach me this way because it makes it so much easier. Because, just feels like there's no ulterior motives or there's very little stress factors to that. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we have the easiest step of the whole exercise left. Just take a deep breath. And you know what to do.
I do.
So I designed this to be the first and last card based off of Viktor Frankl. Do you know who that is? Mm-mm. He was a therapist who survived the Holocaust in the camps, and he a lot of his like the therapy that he ended up creating was based off of watching people in these camps and watching their will to survive or their lack of it. Mm-hmm. And anyway, he has a beautiful quote, which I always butcher, where he says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose. And in that choice is our freedom. And so basically saying, if you can wait a couple seconds, rather than just going autopilot our whole life, bing, 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 with never any space between these things, he says the more space you can put between the guy running up to you with his phone and how you respond. The more space you can create, the happier you'll be with what you end up choosing in your response. And so if we can create this space, all of these cards are what happen in between, because it's the work that we're trying to do to guide our response in a better direction. Yeah. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for creating this. It's really an awesome tool.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I love it.
It's so fun.
Yeah, I know you're probably just being modest as you talk about like fearing deep conversations, but you're super good at it.
Thank you. Because I like you and I'm comfortable with you.
Yeah. You're in a house that you've been in many times.
Yes.
Yeah, that helps a little bit. We're not in a grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah, go take someone I don't know, in an alleyway and do this or something.
Yeah. Hey, you want to do some catharsis?
You want some catharsis, kids?
Cool. Well, thanks, Cam.
Thank you.
Woohoo! We did it! To my fellow introspectors, a reminder that your focus and your conscious attention is like a watering can. Whatever you choose to point it at, for better or worse, will grow. So let this be a reminder, a moment, a request that you take a couple minutes today to point that conscious attention in a good direction, towards something that you care about, towards someone that you love, whatever it might be. Just do it. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Catharsis Sessions. I'm Dashiell Wolf, and I'll catch you on the next one.